What it do, cuckolds? It's your boy, the Hater. Hater reboot up in this mug. Now, we have to talk about this episode of Raw. This was a complete disappointment. I mean, I thought to myself, okay, this is the first episode they're going to do on Netflix, so it has to be kind of good, right? But it wasn't. It was, in my opinion, one of the worst episodes of Raw of all time. I couldn't get past it. Around like 9:30, I thought to myself, I can't wait for this shit to be over. This was unbearable. It was so bad, and I have many criticisms. But, as usual, we're going to go over this segment by segment. As predicted, we're going to start out with a useless Triple H voice package. I wrote in my notes here, this isn't WrestleMania, and then I wrote, I'm surprised Triple H didn't come out and say, are you ready? And then I wrote here, LOL, LOL, he did. Because as I was writing this, Triple H comes out and he does exactly what you would expect him to do. He is one of the worst things to happen to wrestling ever. We will look back at Triple H as a complete disaster in wrestling. He then tells us we are now part of the Netflix era. So we just had like the Paul Levesque era. That lasted about a year. Now it's the Netflix era. After this nonsense, we get the theme of the great one. The Rock is here, cuckolds. Now, the clock is ticking as we speak, right? Like Triple H, this whole thing took like 10 minutes. Then The Rock comes out, and he doesn't do anything to drive the storyline forward. Basically, The Rock comes out, and he puts over some jobbers from Netflix. He's like, oh, we couldn't have done it without, like, Steve Dune and, like, Josh McNeil. And I'm just making names up here, but you understand what I'm saying. He's putting over, like, Netflix executives. What the hell are you talking about? What is this? A board meeting? I thought this was Monday Night Raw, cuck. But that's fine, you know what I mean? That's whatever. Then he puts over Cody Rhodes, who is in attendance. And he says, tell Mama Rhodes I got something for her or something to that effect. And then he showed Cody Rhodes giggling. He's the same guy that beat the shit out of Cody Rhodes like less than a year ago. And now Cody Rhodes is all like, oh yeah. A complete waste of time. The Rock, at this point, is an embarrassment. The Rock is a shell of his former self. The Rock is exactly what happens when you sell out. The Rock didn't have as much money in the 90s as he does now. He wasn't as popular, but he was cooler. And this should serve as an example to everyone that when you sell out, you automatically become less cool. So you can choose to be a sellout and be a loser like The Rock now, coming out looking like an idiot, by the way, with glasses and like that stupid ass vest he keeps wearing with like harps on it. Whatever. Anyways, the point is, The Rock came out and all he did was talk about how great Netflix is. This was a recurring theme throughout the night, cucks. Now, immediately after this, we get a nice surprise. We hear the following words. We taking it all. Da-da-da-da-da-da. Da-da-da-da-da-da. We taking it all. You know what I'm saying? Solo Sikoa comes out, ready to wrestle. Pretty crazy. I assumed this would be the main event. It wasn't. I don't know why, to be honest. And I still can't figure it out. Maybe, we'll talk about it a little bit later. Basically, Solo Sikoa comes out. So does Roman Reigns. Then we get introductions as if we're going to see a title match. Then we get commercials, which addresses that concern, right? Whether or not Netflix would have commercials. Now, I know some of you may be thinking, Hater, of course they're going to have commercials. Why wouldn't they? Well, I'll tell you why. Netflix is a paid service, right? In other words, the benefit of Raw going to Netflix for most of us would be that we're going to see it without commercials, right? I have Hulu Live TV. So I watch Raw the same way on Netflix as I would on Hulu, right? Same exact thing. Nothing's changed. So this is not the monumental deal that people think it is, right? The fact that now you stream something with commercials doesn't change the fact that it's the same thing as when you would watch it on TV. The only difference is how you're getting the actual like live stream, if you will, right? Back in the days of cable, you would get it through a cable. That's why it's called cable. Now you get it through the internet. The whole point is that I can pause it, I can do what I want, I can do all these things, and that I have no commercials if I'm paying for it. If I'm paying for Netflix. Netflix is essentially turning into Comcast It's the same thing. You know? It's just like, here's your TV now. Here's commercials. We went from being something that gave you TV and movies and shows and things like that without commercials to something with commercials. In other words, we beat TV at what they used to do, then we became TV. Now, the match starts, and it's exactly what you would expect. You know, nothing crazy. The new bloodline eventually comes out, even though I thought the whole point of this was that nobody's supposed to come out. But anyways, they come out. Solo hits the spike on Roman. Roman kicks out. Then Solo hits the spike on the ref. Sami Zayn and Jimmy Uso come out. Sami does the haluva kick on Solo and throws him into a spear by Roman. Now, Roman then pins him, but there's no ref. By the time the ref gets there, Solo Sikoa has kicked out, cucks. Now, it was what it was. Eventually, Owens appears and gives Roman Reigns a stunner. Roman kicks out of the stunner when Solo Sikoa pins him. Then Cody Rhodes comes out and beats up Kevin Owens. Now, keep this in mind for a second, right? Let's be realistic and intelligent about this. Now, first of all, why is it that the faces, every time they come out with music? And the heels don't, right? When Jacob Fatu came out, there was no music. When Sami Zayn came out, there was music. When Owens came out, no music. When Rhodes came out, music. You know? It's really stupid. It's really, really dumb. And also, I'm tired of this, like, massive amounts of interference. It was really, really bad, you know? But whatever. Eventually, this leads to, like, a one-on-one scenario. Roman Reigns hits the spear, then, like, hypes up and hits the spear again, and pins Solo. And he wins Tribal Combat. Paul Heyman goes to put the pepper necklace over his head, onto his neck, but The Rock comes out and gives the pepper necklace to Roman instead. When The Rock is standing across from Roman Reigns, you see how small Roman Reigns really is. It's really humiliating, honestly. It's like, The Rock was not like that big of a guy back in the day. He's a big guy, but he wasn't like much bigger than, let's say, like, you know, Stone Cold or Triple H, right? Like, he was smaller than Kane. But anyways, it's neither here nor there. It is what it is. I guess we can say, like, for what it was pretty good. Roman Reigns won. He's the tribal chief now. Now, I would expect that Solo Sikoa now stops doing anything that he's doing with the new bloodline, because he said he would acknowledge Roman Reigns. But we'll see how that goes, cucks. See how that goes. Next up, and I'm going to just summarize this segment by talking about it and like 7 other segments like it. They go to the crowd and they show us Ashton Kutcher and like a bunch of like celebrities that can best be described as D-list celebrities. At one point, they show us Topanga from Boy Meets World. You know what I mean? Like, who the fuck cares about Topanga from Boy Meets World? Number 1. Number 2, they also have wrestlers in the crowd, like, and they're showing them to us like they're stars, right? Like, it'll be like, here's like Stephen Amell and some other Stephen Amell level actor, right? And then here's Rey Mysterio. What are you talking about? Rey Mysterio is a wrestler. That's fucking weird. But anyways, they did this throughout the night to show us that WWE has a lot of celebrity fans, even though these are like D-level celebrities. You know what I mean? It's never like Tom Hanks or Tom Cruise or Denzel Washington. It's always like someone that was big in like 1985 or something. You know what I mean? However, things pick up real quick when John Cena comes out. Basically, Cena comes out and he says he sucks, right? He says he hasn't won a match in like 2,400 days and that he's never going to be champion again. But then he starts thinking to himself, I could win the Royal Rumble, you know? So he enters the Royal Rumble. The fans are losing their minds. The fans really like Cena. They tell him like he deserves the 17th world title, etc., etc. It was really good. I really enjoyed John Cena. The segment was like better than the Rock segment because the Rock didn't do anything. He just came to put, he's basically a corporate shill. He just came to put over Netflix. But John Cena's presence was more wrestling driven, meaning that John Cena was there to promote wrestling and himself, not Netflix. And that's a pretty big deal. After this, we get a Logan Paul vignette about him being full-time and now being part of Raw. I don't know how I feel about this, to be honest. I don't think Logan Paul should be a full-time wrestler. That's just weird. But if he is, we'll see. I mean, nowadays, full-time could mean you wrestle like 10 times a year. So, you know, easy to do, but we'll see where that goes. Eventually, we get Rhea Ripley versus Liv Morgan. The match is completely mid. Nothing to write home about. Basically, Liv Morgan kicks out of a Riptide, and then Rhea Ripley kicks out of an Oblivion onto a chair. But eventually, Rhea Ripley wins with the Riptide. Dom comes in and offers a hug. She hits Dom with the Riptide and walks away with the title. Here's where shit hits the fan. The Undertaker's music hits. Undertaker comes out. Inexplicably. What the fuck is happening? You know, I am starting to lose respect for a lot of people that I used to like. And no joke. The Rock first, The Undertaker second. Like now, The Undertaker is just a complete sellout. You know, a lot of people are enamored by the fact that, oh, like, you know, he never broke kayfabe when he was wrestling. So now, like, he should get his money. Now, I agree with that, conceptually. But come on, have some dignity. And then, like, on Twitter or whatever, they show a thing where the Undertaker's like, I couldn't miss this. I wanted to be part of it. Blah, 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 Rhea Ripley. Like, shut the fuck up. You know what I mean? Like, the Undertaker doesn't care about Rhea Ripley. No, Rhea Ripley sucks, by the way. You know what I mean? I'm tired of this broad being pushed down our throats. Like, there's nothing special about Rhea Ripley. She's boring as shit. The fact that you want to throw her onto every show, have her do nothing, just so you can hear, this is my brutality! And then that's it. She comes out and, like, says 3 words, looking like Black Rain. Give a fuck. But anyways, this really ruined the segment. It really ruins everything. I don't like it. Then Travis Scott, who apparently has been nominated for 10 Grammys, really showing that Grammys have no value whatsoever. Travis Scott is someone that would never make it in rap in the 90s or the early 2000s. Travis Scott, I don't know any of his songs except for the one that he came out to. And that song is shit. It's like, ding, 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 ding. And then this guy's like mumbling, saying like some retard shit in the background. He comes out with another retard, Jey Uso. Jey Uso puts his arm around him. And it's like, you couldn't think of 2 less cool people. It's like these 2 uncool shits. And that was kind of like the theme of the night. It's a bunch of uncool people coming out. And people that were cool coming out and looking like shit, like The Undertaker. Like looking like an old man on a bike. It doesn't fit him anymore. Anyways, whatever. That happens. Then they show a graphic of televised wins saying that Jey Uso is up there in televised wins. Cody apparently has 21 televised wins and throughout an entire year, you know? Now, that's an unacceptable amount of TV matches. And when they say televised, that doesn't mean on TV. That means on TV and or pay-per-view, right? Like 10 of those are on pay-per-view. You know what I mean? Because 2 of them are WrestleMania, right? Like WrestleMania night 1, night 2. Then they also count the 1-minute disqualification match against like Solo Sikoa and bullshit like that, you know? It's really, really deceptive and I don't like it at all. Then, throughout the match, a bunch of shit happens. Jey Uso pins Drew McIntyre with a roll-up. I mean, like, I don't know why they pretend this is a big deal. You know? They're like, oh, Jey Uso, what a victory for Jey Uso. Why is it a big deal? You know? What is impressive about beating Drew McIntyre? Everybody beats Drew McIntyre. Drew McIntyre's a jobber now. But anyways, Jey Uso beat him, so we're supposed to be impressed. Whatever, we go to commercial immediately. When we come back after commercial, we see another commercial where Roman Reigns is telling Paul Heyman that January 27th or some shit like that, something's going to go down. And then they go into a door, the door shuts, and it says WWE 2K25. So they're going to reveal maybe the cover or something. Who gives a flying fuck? You know what I'm saying? I'm done with that game too, by the way. Complete shit. It's like the same thing every time. Now it's not fun at all anymore, you know? Back in the day, we had Here Comes the Pain, which was like an actual video game. Now it's like, oh, your character is too tired to do a move. What the fuck? Get him untired, bitch. This is a video game. It's not real life. You know, it's like, I never understood why video games try to move more and more towards realism. You know, you play like Call of Duty. It's like, you're out of bullets. Great. I don't give a fuck. Give me more, cuck. Give me more bullets. Why do I have a limitation on the number of bullets I have? That's stupid. I want unlimited bullets. Oh, you want to play as a sniper? Yeah, you're going to have to crouch down and then click the R3 button or whatever the fuck it is, or the L3 button to hold your breath. Oh, okay, with what button do I clinch my asshole? You know what I mean? Where's the clinch my asshole button so I can aim better? How about just fucking aim normally? It's a video game, cuck. Oh, you're nervous as you're aiming. No, I'm not. No, I'm not, motherfucker. Why are you making me nervous? Hold your breath. Fuck that. Make that the default. What the hell's happening to video games? Anyways, not here nor there. Anyways, we move on from that. Then they try to sell us more shit and show us more D-list celebrities and wrestlers that aren't wrestling today, but just like watching, like Tiffany Stratton. You know what I mean? Then you're thinking to yourself, wow, something cool's about to happen. Hulk Hogan comes out. Well, at least the music hits. He comes out with Jimmy Hart, and you're like, oh, it's Hulk Hogan. But then you see him, he can barely walk. It's almost disgusting. I feel so bad. He can barely walk, motherfucks. Like, I'm pretty sure he needs a cane, but I think it's like beyond him to like use a cane, so he's not going to do that. But he comes out, and he starts talking about beer, right? And that's when you realize that this is not a Hogan segment. This is another commercial for Hogan's Beer, which is a partner for WWE. Then Hogan rips off his shirt and shows a Netflix shirt. Everyone's booing him, right? I'm not sure why. Maybe because they realize this is horseshit. And they realize that what the fuck is going on here? Every moment, someone's trying to sell you something. You know, ask yourself, like, watch next week's Raw. This is going to get even worse, you know? You can look at the ring in this episode. There's like the name of like 20 sponsors, you know? It's over, motherfuckers. This is just a big commercial. It's a 3-hour commercial with some wrestling in there. Now, ask yourself the following. Ask yourself this. How many times in one episode does Michael Cole tell you to do something? Does he say, go to this website to check this out? Go do this. Sign up for this. It's like 15 times. This is on top of the commercials that you're watching. You have Michael Cole every 3 minutes selling you something. Then you have other people selling you something. You know, and this is not the last example. You know, we had other things as well. Eventually, we have fucking, what's his face? Gabriel Iglesias. I don't remember when this happened. There was a point when he comes out. He's out there to hawk his shitty special. This guy's never been funny. I'm tired of Gabriel Iglesias and these low-level comedians. These are like the comedians for people with no sense of humor. For like I'm just a regular guy. I like Bill Burr. You know what I mean? These like non-funny shits. People that are like complete sellouts, like Bill Burr or Gabriel Iglesias. I'm more of a Patrice O'Neal guy. I'm more of a Jim Norton guy. I'm an Opie and Anthony guy, cucks. You know what I mean? Whatever. The point is, Gabriel Iglesias comes out, and he has a segment with the New Day. The entire segment is them talking about his, like, whatever, special, whatever the fuck it's going to be. Something on Netflix, right? From Gabriel Iglesias. Like, he basically tells New Day that they suck and starts saying New Day sucks. And then Xavier says, tomorrow, I'm not going to watch your special, right? I'm surprised that Xavier didn't say, tomorrow at 8 p.m. Eastern, like 6 p.m. Central or whatever, right? I'm not going to be tuning into Netflix to watch Gabriel Iglesias. You know, he should have been more specific about it. This was embarrassing. This show was embarrassing, motherfucks. It was not a good show. But we're not done yet, cuckwads. You know? And now you can ask yourself, this has been 3 hours that we've been talking about this, right? 3 hours of show. But how much of this was actually good? Like, this is not going to be one of my longer Raw reviews, because what am I going to do? Review the fluffy segment? Well, Gabriel Iglesias comes out and he's being interviewed about his Netflix special. Are you fucking kidding me? I don't want to see this bastard on Raw at all unless it's to go out there to the ring and then have Kane chokeslam him. I don't want to see someone promote something that's nothing to do with wrestling. Especially Gabriel Iglesias, who isn't funny. I don't like any of these motherfucks. Anyways, all right. Now it's time for the main event. The match was decent. It was Seth Rollins versus CM Punk. CM Punk wins with the GTS. He does multiple GTSs, as is now the norm, to do multiple of your own finisher in a row. And he wins. I mean, what is there to say about this? It's over, you know? The feud is over. Maybe Seth Rollins can move on. CM Punk is obviously being primed to do something great. I don't know how it's going to go. I really hope John Cena wins the Royal Rumble, but we'll see. Yeah, the show was a disaster, motherfuckers. Here's the thing. While it's true that a lot of people that came out, that we expected to come out, did come out and did do their thing, quote unquote, They all underperformed, except for Cena. The Rock came out, and he did absolutely nothing to further his involvement in WrestleMania. At this point, I don't want him to be at WrestleMania. All of a sudden, he's a face again. He's like, Cody Rhodes, thanks for holding it down. Are you fucking kidding me? What the fuck happened to the final boss? More like the final cuck. Anyways, that shit went down. The Roman Reigns Solo Sikoa thing, the only reason I could think why that wasn't the main event was just so they could have the little WWE 2K moment, you know? But I don't know. I don't know what the point of that was. It should have been the main event. Seth Rollins versus CM Punk was not for anything. It was just a match, right? Drew McIntyre, just a match. And it was, 3 hours? And I believe we had 4 matches, I think. Might be missing something, but I don't think so. We had the Rhea Ripley versus Liv Morgan, Jey Uso, Drew McIntyre, Seth Rollins, CM Punk, and the Tribal Combat. 4 matches. Unacceptable. The rest of the show, literally, just ask yourself. We had 4 matches, and none of these matches were like especially long. They were just 4 matches. 8 wrestlers wrestled today. The remaining, every second of the show was just commercials. There were no other segments, right? It was just commercials. There was like a Chad Gable, segment. There was like a fucking Pentagon is coming type of shit, but nothing interesting was happening. It was 99% filler garbage or commercials. So, there you have it. I don't see this being a success, motherfuckers. I just really don't. So, we'll see. We'll see how it goes, cucks. Take care of yourselves and your mothers.